What's going on, guys? This is Resurrected Mods here on SS Hawk's account. Today I'm going to be going over the Iron Twins boss. Before the video gets started, I want to do a disclaimer. This comp that I'm going to be showing you on this video is not 100% successful. It has a chance to fail at the very beginning of the run, and it also has a chance to fail during the run in general. As you know, the boss cleanses himself, and if you don't get decreased speed on in time, your run will fail. There is another comp that I will be doing a video on here shortly on my account that uses a 4-turn block damage champion just like this team will, and it will have 3 pain keepers. If you have 3 pain keepers and a 4-turn cooldown champ on block damage, I would very much recommend you look for that video and build that comp instead, because it will not fail and it is actually much faster and it's a lot less gear intensive. But yeah, let's get into this one. And also, real quick, the general speeds will be listed in the description below, as well as a link to the Iron Twins speed calculator. That's going to be a huge help, as the general speed will just get you in the right direction, and you'll have to go to the calculator and make sure that you are doing the correct speeds. But let's go and look at the DPS. In this comp, there's actually 2 DPS spots that you can use. If you have Geo, I would very much recommend using Geo. He is by far the best damage dealer in the game as far as when it comes to bosses. Even on block damage comps, he out damages everybody. So as you know, you need 560 accuracy to land debuffed on the Iron Twins boss, which is ridiculous, but that is what it is. It's just perception gear. I get him to the right speed. With Geo has to be anywhere between 160 and 180. That's his general speed. He has to be faster than Demytha and slower than Kurzard, which is a rare that I will be showing you here in a minute. That's just the general speeds. Again, you will need to check on the calculator and make sure this team is in sync and will work. Another thing I want to show you is none of these champions will have War Master, because War Master can proc the chance of the boss to cleanse himself, and then you're going to end up in a really bad situation, and you don't want that. So to limit your chances of failing, I took off War Masters on all of these champions in this comp, and it's not a must-do, but I would highly recommend doing that. But yeah, there's Geomancer. Let's go over to Kurzard, who is the most important champion on this. He's the reason this thing works, is he brings decreased speed on his A1 as long as the attack is critical. I watched a video on this comp, and one thing that they failed to mention is that the boss does a 30% decrease crit rate on your champions. So to account for that, you need a minimum of 143 crit rate to account for that 30% decreased crit rate. Because if you don't crit, he's not going to put his decreased speed on, and your run will fail. So I went for the speed. Kurzard needs to be anywhere between 180 and 194. It's recommended to be on the higher side of that, but this run, as you'll see, it runs perfectly fine as long as the small chance to fail doesn't happen. I have low accuracy, but I will go over that in a minute. I have the 143 minimum crit rate, and you'll see he always crit rates, even with the 30% decreased crit rate. And that is another huge thing to look for. If you have better gear and you're able to go for more HP and more defense to limit the chances of failing at the very beginning, that's recommended, but it's not needed. Just be aware that you could be one-shotted at the very beginning of the match. Since you won't put block damage on until after the boss takes his first turn. So there's Kurzard. Let's go over to the next needed person, which is Demytha. Again, no War Master, and I'll go back to Kurzard real quick. No War Master. Demytha, her speed range is anywhere between 159 and 179. She needs to be the slowest on the team, so she's always putting the block debuff on every 3 turns as the last person. That's it. You just need her for her speed and her block damage. If you can put more HP and more defense on to survive that first hit, that's great. If not, it's not needed. Just be aware again that there is a possibility that your run will fail. My second DPS, like I said, there are 2 DPS champions in this comp. SS did not have the gear to do another 560 accuracy build with the right speed and whatnot. So I just threw in a random DPS. I put in Vogoth for his accuracy aura. And all I did was get him to the right speeds and gave him a little bit of HP and defense, and that was it. But your second DPS, just like Geo, can be between 160 and 180. And again, check the calculator, make sure your team will run on the calculator, and then you can do a run. This DPS can be anything. Another good DPS recommendation would be Occult Brawler. He's great at doing poison. Just get him enough accuracy, and he'll help you DPS down the boss. And the last person, the block damage person, can be any 4-turn block damage person. I think there's only 2 that are on a 2-turn, which is helicath. I use him on my account, but on this account I have Tower. On SS accounts, he has Rossard the Tower. And I didn't want to take the run longer with helicath constantly counterattacking and having a chance to proc the cleanse ability. So I just went with Rossard the Tower, and all he is needed for is his block damage. So all you got to do is get him to the right speed. And his speed range is 247 through 249. The boss's speed is at 250. So as long as you go after him, that's all you need. And you can't be much lower than 247. His speeds are pretty tight. And you'll see that on the calculator as you're changing speeds and whatnot. But 247 through 249. Again, if you can give them HP and defense to survive that first hit, that's great. But if not, again, it's not needed. Just be aware you run could fail at the very beginning. And again, no War Master. He was part of an old clan boss comp. So we had full masteries for him. Unfortunately, I don't need them. They actually hurt the run, so I took them off. So with all that, let's get into the run, and we can just watch it go from there. All right, that was a pretty good run. Not the fastest run. Like I said, the other comp is gonna be much faster. I'm talking on average a minute faster. Um, I've gotten as low as 2 minutes and 12 seconds, but on average I'm between 2:30 and 3:30. On this one, it's pretty consistently 4 minutes. But as you can see there, I have gotten 3 minutes and 19 seconds. It's just luck of the draw. Um, One thing that I did fail to show you was the team setup, but that's okay. We can go into campaign, I believe, and I think I can show you. Yep. Okay. Just so you know, if you like get locked out of Clan Boss, like you use all your keys, or the same thing with Iron Twins, if you need to check out the team setup, you can go to campaign and you can look at the setup there. Vogoth, which is just your DPS slot, he can use whatever. Demytha, you start with the A1, you prioritize the A2, and then you use the A3. Demytha does have to be fully booked. That way her cooldowns are at 3, and she's always using her block damage when you need her to. Kurzard is A1 strictly. You just want him doing decrease speed, decrease speed, decrease speed. That's all you care about. Geomancer, I turn off the A2, and we want him using his A3 as much as possible so he is getting as much damage done that he can do. And then Rossard, you're going to start with the A1, you're going to prioritize the A3, and then a second priority on the A2. And that's the team setup. That was a good run, just so you know what to look for. While you're watching your run, it has a chance to fail is if you have like War Master, or maybe you have too much damage built into a champion, and you take the boss past his thresholds, which is like 85, 70, 55, and 40%. If you hit him and you take him past that threshold, he will cleanse the debuff. And if you don't get decreased speed back up in time before you do any buff, the speed tune is going to be out of whack and your team's going to fail. Another small chance to fail is Kurzard gets resisted. As you know, this game has a 3% resist built in. It doesn't matter if you have 5 million accuracy. There is still a built-in chance that you will get resisted 3% of the time. So Kurzard could get resisted out of luck and not place decreased speed. And then again, your team will go out of whack, and that's how you fail. And then failing at the beginning, basically one of your people will die as soon as he hits the first time, and you just end it right then and there. That's what to look for, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And if you have 3 pen keepers, please look out for my next video, as that team is going to be much better for you, much easier and faster.